And the large majority of your life you're going to be spending as an adult. So don't do anything stupid while you're young. Abstain until your body has matured. Vigorous Steve here, back with the Vigorous Q&A, answering all of your bodybuilding related questions. Today we have two questions which I'm going to combine. The first question is from Screw the Ops. Hey Steve, my question is, facial masculinization and changes in voice after PED use. Does it happen with everybody, and which factor does it more depend on prolonged exposure to any anabolic androgenic steroids or highly androgenic compounds like Tren? Does the age at which steroids are used matter? Because you'd think the kid who used Tren at 14 years old, which Derek More Plates More Dates made a video on, would have super deep alpha voice and hypermasculinity face. I'll combine that with the following question of kid reused performance enhancing drugs under the age of 25. Right, I feel it's fitting to combine both of these questions. Before we get into the answer, please like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Do me a solid, hit the notification bell button while you're at it so you can get notified whenever a new video drops. Masculinization when taking steroids, and growth hormone for that matter, is part of it. Steroids regulate growth, and so does growth hormone, insulin, IGF-1, and some of the other peptide hormones that we can choose from. Masculinization is a known side effect of going on performance-enhancing drugs that you're just going to have to live with. But it's not a sole reason to take performance-enhancing drugs. I remember when we did a BioBros episode about masculinization and changing one's height by using an aromatase inhibitor and changing the ratio of testosterone into estradiol while you're still growing before your growth plates have closed. And you should have seen the amount of direct messages I got from that. Now, I don't want to inspire any young kid out there to start using performance-enhancing drugs to increase their height, or to look more masculine, grow a thick, nice jawline, or grow a thick, nice beard. These performance-enhancing drugs have side effects resulting in those kind of things, while height growth is probably not going to happen. If anything, using PEDs probably makes you shorter because the compression of doing heavy-ass squats will probably save you an inch. Still, the masculinization is going to be a side effect, but it's not the sole purpose to take these compounds. The higher the dose is going to be, the more masculinization you're going to expect. Now, if you, for example, you take these drugs during puberty, when your body is still sensitive, your bone structure is still growing and reliant on super physiological amounts of testosterone, which again, during puberty, your testosterone levels are going to be way higher than during your adult years. If you sprinkle in anything else besides natural testosterone, you could expect that you get hyper-masculinization. Your facial structure will change, and that's probably going to be permanent. Your voice changes are going to occur, and that's probably going to be permanent. Same as for hair growth. So this is another reason why never to take anabolic androgenic steroids or any other performance-enhancing drug while your body has not fully matured, because your body is responsive. Your body will change when you go super physiological. And if you're messing with your HPTA during puberty, you probably shouldn't expect a fully functioning HPTA for the rest of your life afterwards. Before you do anything and take drastic measures, allow your body to mature. Go through the full puberty cycle. Give yourself a couple years, because even after puberty, your body will still mature a little bit further. So personally, I would say the ideal age, assuming that you've put in a decent amount of time regarding your training, you've figured out your nutrition, you've optimized your diet, you know which supplements to take, you've done a ton of research on how to take performance-enhancing drugs safely, I would say the ideal age to start them would be somewhere between 25 years old to 30 years old. That it doesn't mean you have to start taking steroids on your 25th birthday. You can wait. You can wait until you notice that your serum testosterone levels are declining, as did I. I've always checked my serum testosterone levels, and after a while I started to notice that they were getting less and less and less. They were still not super low. I ended up at 630, 600 nanograms per deciliter at the age of 26 on my total testosterone levels, at which point I was already bodybuilding drug-free for 11 years. So I knew how to train. I knew how to diet. I knew which supplements to take. And I was doing a lot of research before I started dabbling with PEDs. Now, of course, now 12 years later, I know a lot more about performance-enhancing drugs, and what I knew back then kind of pales in comparison to the point I would say that I was pretty fucking stupid at the age of 26. Still, I did my first cycle quite conservatively. I did not experience too much masculinization, a little bit of additional hair growth, a little bit of deepening of the voice, a little bit of growing of the jawline, right? So all these things are to be expected, but were not substantial. When I started dabbling with higher dosages of Tren, or 2 grams of testosterone by itself using an aromatase inhibitor to control serum estradiol levels, that's where most of my virilization really became prominent. Now, of course, combining that with growth hormone and insulin and IGF-1 and anything else that's very prominent in growing tissue, it's also going to grow tissue on your face. And whether that's bone tissue, muscle tissue, or skin tissue, right? Some of the progestogenic 19-ors are very good in growing the thickness of your skin. And testosterone also plays a contributing role, especially if you allow your serum estradiol levels to come up a little bit higher. This really changes your facial structure. Now, is that reversible? To a certain extent. When I came off after my last cycle and did a pretty hefty diet of vegetables only and not taking any performance-enhancing drugs, my face slimmed down tremendously. So I didn't notice permanent cranial changes regarding the bone structure, and all of the muscle mass which I did build on my face, the jaw, the temples, maybe a little bit of in the cheeks, right? That came down after the anabolic androgenic steroids dissipated. Again, I didn't do high dosages for very long periods of time. I've had my periods, I've had my moments of high dose cycles, but not for years on end. That would be maybe 2 months, 3 months in duration. And then the majority of the year, I would do a low dose cycle, or I would actually come off, right? Or do a cruise, something in between. So masculinization at younger age, when you take steroids, that's pretty much a given. Again, because your body is going through puberty, your body is receptive to these growth factors that are going to hyper-masculinize you. And there's all the more reason not to take them, because you don't want to end up looking like a 30-year-old when you're 20. I mean, how many guys on Instagram look 30-year-old, but they're 20, 25 years? I mean, that's not what you want. You might want that when you're 15, you want to look like a 20-year-old so you can bang the hot 20-year-old chicks. But look a little bit further. When you're 40, you look 50. When you're 50, you look 70. And the large majority of your life, you're going to be spending as an adult. So don't do anything stupid while you're young. Abstain until your body has matured. Starting performance-enhancing drugs anywhere between 25 years old or 30 years old or later, if you so desire it. It's entirely up to you. No younger than 25 years old. And at any point in time after that, do your due diligence researching, do your blood work, get a baseline reading. I'll link an article down below where you can basically find all of the health screening required before you start your first cycle. Do all of your research. Make sure you start low. You can always build up and increase the dose later on. You don't have to dive in head first into a 1 gram cycle. And the virilization is just an added benefit. You don't want too much virilization to the point you look like an old fart when you're just mid-20s. And you certainly don't want long-lasting virilization, especially when you decide to stop with your bodybuilding aspirations. You go back to a TRT dose, but now your head is this big, your shoulders have completely deflated. And well, just go with some of the old schoolers that are still here on YouTube. They have no physique and a giant fucking head. I'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find the next Vigorous Q&A on my Instagram page, @VigorSteve. Follow me there. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the description section. My sponsors, my affiliates. I have discount codes for all of them, so you can save yourself some money while shopping online. Vigorous crew, a frontable blaster for you guys. You guys know what to do. Much appreciated, much love. All of your likes and comments are highly appreciated. The algorithm loves you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.